If you pick number 3, you have avoidant attachment. And that's why every relationship ends the same way. Don't skip this video. By the end, you'll understand why you keep choosing emotionally unavailable people, why you panic when someone gets too close, and most importantly, how to finally break the cycle. This is based on Carl Jung's psychology and attachment theory. And if you're watching this, the algorithm knows something about you already. Let's begin. Welcome to the Spectrum Mind, where we dive deep into psychology that explains why you are the way you are. Today we're talking about attachment styles. And before you roll your eyes thinking you already know yours, I promise this test is different. Most people think they're secure attached when they're actually fearful avoidant. Most people think they're independent when they're actually running from intimacy. Here's how this works. In a moment, I'm going to show you 4 relationship scenarios. You'll pick the one that resonates most with your gut reaction. Not what you wish you'd do, but what you'd actually do. Your choice will reveal your attachment style, your core wound, and why your relationships follow the same painful pattern. Ready? Let's dive in. Here's the situation. You've been dating someone for 3 months. Things are going great. They text you saying, "Hey, can we talk tonight? There's something important I want to discuss about us." How do you react? Pick one. Option 1. You feel curious and calm. You reply, "Sure, what time works for you?" You're genuinely interested in having a mature conversation. You don't spiral into worst-case scenarios. You trust that whatever they need to discuss, you both can handle it together. Option 2. Immediate panic. Your heart races. You read the message 50 times. What did you do wrong? Are they breaking up with you? You call your best friend. Analyze every interaction from the past week. And by the time they call, you've already convinced yourself it's over. You reply within 30 seconds. "Is everything okay? Did I do something wrong?" Option 3. You feel your walls go up immediately. The phrase, "we need to talk," triggers you to start emotionally checking out. You suddenly remember you're actually really busy tonight. Maybe you'll respond in a few hours. Or tomorrow. Part of you is already thinking about ending things first, before they can hurt you. You reply, "I'm pretty swamped this week. Can it wait?" Option 4. You want to respond calmly, but you can't. Your mind goes to the worst place. They're leaving, but then you tell yourself you don't even care that much anyway. You're torn between texting them immediately and ignoring them completely. You type 5 different responses and delete them all. Eventually you send, "Okay," with no emoji because you don't know how to feel. Voiceover. Got your answer? Hold on to it. Now let's break down what your choice reveals about you. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this. If you picked option 1, you have secure attachment. Here's the truth. Only about 50% of adults have secure attachment. You're in the minority. What this means: you grew up with caregivers who were emotionally available and consistent. When you cried, someone came. When you needed space, you got it. This created a blueprint in your brain that says, relationships are safe, people are trustworthy, and conflict can be resolved. In relationships, you don't panic when someone needs space, can communicate your needs without guilt, trust people until they give you a reason not to handle conflict without shutting down or exploding. Your core belief, "I am worthy of love and love is safe." Why you're still single? If you are, honestly, you're probably not single for long. But if you are, it's because you have healthy standards and you're not willing to settle for someone who isn't emotionally mature. You'd rather be alone than in a toxic relationship. The shadow side. Sometimes secure people can come across as boring to anxious or avoidant types who are used to drama. You might attract people who mistake your stability for lack of passion. What you need: find another secure person or someone actively working on their attachment. You can't fix an avoidant person who doesn't want to change. If you picked option 2, you have anxious attachment. And this is why you're exhausted in relationships. What this means: your caregivers were inconsistent. Sometimes they were there, sometimes they weren't. Maybe they were dealing with their own trauma. Maybe they were emotionally unavailable. So you learned, I need to fight for love. I need to prove I'm worthy. If I'm perfect enough, they'll stay. In relationships, you check your phone constantly, waiting for their text to overanalyze everything they say in constant reassurance feel. like you love more than they do panic when they pull away even slightly. Your core belief, I'm not enough. If they really knew me, they'd leave. Why you're still single. The harsh truth. You're attracted to avoidant people because their hot and cold behavior feels familiar. When someone is consistently available to you, you get bored. You mistake anxiety for chemistry and stability for lack of spark. You also might stay in situationships for months or even years, hoping they'll finally commit. You overfunction in relationships. You're the one always texting first, always planning dates, always trying to fix things. The pattern you repeat. Meet someone emotionally unavailable, try desperately to make them love you, you pull away, you chase harder eventually. It ends, you blame yourself, repeat with someone new who's also emotionally unavailable. Your childhood wound. You learn love is conditional. You learned you have to earn it. You learned abandonment is always around the corner. What you actually need. Therapy. Shadow work. Learning to self-soothe instead of seeking external validation. You need to date a secure person who stays consistent even when you're spiraling. But first, you need to stop rejecting secure people as boring. The hard truth. Your anxiety is not their responsibility to manage. You have to heal this wound yourself. No amount of reassurance from a partner will ever be enough until you believe you're worthy without their validation. Voiceover. If you picked option 3, you have avoidant attachment, and you're the person anxious people keep falling for. What this means. Your caregivers were emotionally distant, critical, or dismissive. You learned early on, my feelings are a burden. I need to handle everything myself. Depending on others is weak. So you built walls. You became hyper-independent. You pride yourself on not needing anyone. In relationships, you pull away when things get too close, sabotage good relationships, feel suffocated by intimacy, value freedom above all else, ghost people instead of having hard conversations. Your core belief, if I let them in, they'll hurt me. I'm safer alone. Why you're still single. The brutal truth. You are the reason you're single. You want a relationship in theory, but when someone actually shows up for you, you panic. You find flaws in perfectly good people. You convince yourself you're not ready or too busy or just not that into them. The truth? You're terrified. You're terrified of being vulnerable. You're terrified they'll see the real you and leave. So you leave first. The pattern you repeat. Meet someone amazing, things go great for 2 to 3 months. They want more commitment. You feel trapped. You start pulling away. They chase. If anxious or leave is secure, you feel relieved, then lonely, repeat. You're deactivating strategies. When someone gets too close, you remember their flaws, compare them to an ex, convince yourself you don't really like them, focus on work/hobby, stop texting back as much, create emotional or physical distance. Your childhood wound. You learn that needing people leads to disappointment. You learn to suppress your emotions. You learn that love comes with conditions and criticism. What you actually need. You need to understand that vulnerability is not weakness. You need to stop running when things get real. You need to stay in the discomfort long enough to realize intimacy won't kill you. You're attracted to anxious people because their pursuit feels safe from a distance, but their neediness eventually triggers your avoidance. What you really need is a secure person who will give you space, but also hold you accountable when you start your distancing pattern. The hard truth. Every relationship will feel suffocating to you until you heal your fear of intimacy. Your walls aren't protecting you. They're isolating you. If you picked option 4, you have fearful-avoidant attachment, also called disorganized, and you're experiencing the most painful attachment style. What this means. You're a mix of anxious and avoidant. You crave intimacy but fear at the same time. You want someone close but push them away when they get there. You're stuck between come here and go away. In relationships, you want love desperately but sabotage it, constantly feel too much or nothing at all, switch between clingy and distant, track chaos and drama, stay in toxic relationships too long, then leave abruptly. Your core belief, I want love but I don't deserve it. I'm too much and not enough at the same time. Why you're still single. You're either in a toxic relationship that's destroying you or you're completely isolated because you can't trust anyone. You fall hard and fast. You idealize people in the beginning. Then reality hits and you devalue them. Then you panic that they'll leave. Then you push them away. then you regret it. It's exhausting for you and everyone around you. The pattern you repeat. Meet someone and feel instant intense connection, move too fast, emotionally start to panic about getting hurt, pick fights, or create distance, they pull away because you're confusing. You panic and chase them back, they come back, you feel trapped again, cycle repeats until someone finally leaves. Your childhood wound, the deepest. Your caregivers were your source of comfort and your source of fear. Maybe there was abuse, neglect, or trauma. Maybe your parent was loving one moment and terrifying the next. You learned, the people who are supposed to love me are the people who hurt me. So now, intimacy feels dangerous. Love feels like a threat. Your nervous system is constantly in fight or flight mode. What you actually need: professional trauma therapy, EMDR, somatic healing, inner child work. You need to understand that your fear response is a survival mechanism from childhood. It's not serving you anymore. You're capable of secure attachment, but it requires deep healing work. You need a therapist who specializes in trauma and attachment. The hard truth: until you heal your trauma, every relationship will feel like an emotional war zone. You'll keep repeating the same painful patterns with different people. But here's the hope. Fearful avoidant people who do the work can become the most compassionate, emotionally intelligent partners because they understand pain deeply. So now you know, your attachment style isn't your fault. It's your childhood wound. But healing it is your responsibility. Here's what to do next. If you're secure, keep doing what you're doing, but be aware of who you're attracting. If you're anxious, stop chasing people who pull away. Learn to self-soothe. Date secure people even if it feels boring at first. If you're avoidant, stop running when things get real. Stay in the discomfort. Vulnerability won't kill you. If you're fearful avoidant, seek professional help. You deserve to feel safe in love. Comment below which one you picked. Let's see how many of us are out here struggling with the same patterns. And if this video called you out, subscribe for more psychology content that'll make you uncomfortable but help you grow. See you in the next one.